Fire list. Um, let's see. The other thing I've got to say about Amazon Prime is if you're deciding whether or not you want to buy into it, you get free 2-day shipping on anything you buy off Amazon. If you don't live in a major metro area, so you do a decent amount of shopping online, that can actually add up. So it's something worth thinking about. On the other hand, if you're right in the middle of New York City and you've got everything at your fingertips, it may not be worth it. But I thought it was a nice tie-in, and I get a lot of TVs and movies for free. They got a lot of children's shows too. I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they've got all sorts of kids shows for free, so I don't have to keep on shelling out money for Bob the Builder or whatever. Let's see. One thing I will say is, I kind of been emphasizing the streaming video, and here, I'll take this. You can see if you watch something and you don't want it displaying in this that you've watched something. I don't know if there's any reason you don't want anyone knowing that you've seen Sons of Anarchy, but you get the idea. You can actually remove that from the carousel. You used to not be able to do that, but they've updated that. So now it looks like the most recent thing I did was read a book that will help educate me and make me smarter. But I've been emphasizing streaming video for a reason. This thing does not have much onboard storage. It's an 8 GB device, and of that, 2 GB are dedicated to system files and apps. That only leaves you 6 GB for saving media. That's pretty small. The Nook tablet's got twice that. The cheapest iPad's got twice that. The cheapest Sony Tablet S has got twice that. There's not a lot of 8 GB devices still out there, at least not in tablet form. So it's good that it ties in with a lot of streaming music if you do the Amazon Cloud thing, or streaming video if you do Amazon Prime, because there's just not a lot of room to store stuff on this, and it doesn't have an SD card slot or anything, so you can't add to that. My understanding is you can do that with the Nook tablet, so if that's something you really want to do, you may want to look at the Nook option instead of this. Let's see. Another thing, if you're inputting text, I'll click on the web application, and I'll close my Facebook page that y'all can't see, my friends. Here we go. I'll just bring this up and then bring up the keyboard. You got it. One keyboard there, one keyboard there. It's actually easy to type this way because you can just type with both thumbs, or you can hold with one hand and hunt and peck with another way. You'd think this way would be easier, but it's actually a real pain in the butt. The keyboard is too small for touch typing and too big for thumb typing. So this is a pretty useless keyboard layout. This actually works much better, so I tend to do all my typing in this orientation, just type with my thumbs. It's got an autocorrect function, or I guess they call it quick fixes. It's useless, it's annoying. Go into settings and and disable it. I was trying to type congrats to someone on Facebook, and it replaced it with confraternity. And no matter what I tried to do when I finished the word, it kept on replacing it with confraternity. Now I didn't even know what confraternity meant. I'm not that uneducated. I had to look it up. Apparently it's a group of Catholics who does charitable works or something, but I don't know why Amazon thinks that's a more common word than congrats, at least when typing online. But there you go. So disable that. It will make you pull your hair out if you don't. Bugginess. I understand this was a big problem when the Kindle Fire first came out, and it's actually one of the reasons I initially was very skeptical of the Kindle Fire. I'd heard a lot of complaints about bugginess. Shortly before I bought mine, there was a software update that fixed a lot of the problems people were having. I still have some hiccups, mainly in the Pandora application. Sometimes if I go into Pandora, the two things will come up. Either it will say it's buffering and it will stop at 93% instead of actually going to 100% buffering. It'll still play just fine, but it's got this big box in the middle of the screen that says 93%. The other problem I have, which I'm having right now, is that sometimes it doesn't seem to want to register the skip button, and I have to type it about 4 or 5 times forward in order to actually make it skip forward. It's one of the only times when it seems undersensitive instead of oversensitive. So the Pandora app, and I don't know whether this is Amazon's fault or whether this is Pandora's fault, but that's pretty buggy. Otherwise, it's been pretty stable for me. The last thing I'm going to point out is, yes, you can play games on this. Nothing too fancy. They don't have anything the equivalent of Infinity Blade 2 or something really graphics intensive like that. They've got, you know, your typical Angry Birds, Cut the Rope, Plants and Zombies, those sorts of games. And then something that I thought was a nice little feature. I'm going to turn off Pandora because I finally decided it was going to be able to play. Something fun that they do have is there's a couple really decent old school Japanese style RPGs for this. Kind of 16-bit Super Nintendo era graphics. They're quaint, they're cute, and they're actually kind of a lot of fun to play if you want just a little something. So, you know, and this one is called Symphony of Eternity, I want to say. Yes, Symphony of Eternity. I always confuse this. There's another one by the same title. Anyways, worth looking into for a couple bucks. My overall conclusions, I can see I'm kind of running out of time on this. Is it a flawed product? Absolutely. Is it nevertheless a really good value? Absolutely. It needs more hardware buttons. It needs to decrease sensitivity of the touchscreen. It needs to give you a button to bring up recently watched videos, figure out what's going on with that Pandora app that comes bundled with it. But honestly, it's $199. You can buy 2.5 Kindle Fires for the price of the cheapest iPad. You can buy 4 Kindle Fires for a fully loaded iPad, if I remember correctly. It also undercuts the Nook tablet in price a little bit, and I think it feels much better to hold. The Nook tablet felt a bit cheap to my hands, even though it's got better features. I also think it ties into a better media ecosystem than the Nook tablet does. I think overall Amazon, like if you compare what you get with an Amazon Prime membership to what you get with a Barnes & Noble membership, and if you add together the device plus the membership, they're both about $275. I think you get more with the Kindle Fire. On the other hand, if you're just going to root the device and do what you want with it, the Nook tablet's the better value. So, overall, I really like it. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it. But are there ways it could be better? Absolutely. At the end of the day, for $199, it's a really good purchase. It's a fun little device. Fun to have around, and it's a price that doesn't make you squirm nearly as much as a $500 10-inch tablet does. So would I hesitate to recommend it? I wouldn't hesitate at all. I really like mine. I'm really, really glad I got it. And that's it. Feel free to post any questions if you got any. Thanks a lot.